Andy. It's about 4:30 in the morning, but I had another one of those dreams that I want to share because I think this one's an important one, and I didn't want to forget it because to me, I feel very fortunate that I get information the way I do, and it's time to change their programming. And the only way to change programming is to think about things logically. And we're going to talk about the biggest thing that the world is trying to talk about these days, and that's racism. Now, I have to put it in the perspective of the information given. Where do we start? Okay. When you've heard of places like, for example, in many countries around the world, places like Chinatown or Chinatowns. Let me ask you, what race tends to live in Chinatown? Tends to be Chinese. Okay. Let's go to places like Little Italy. What race do you think is the majority of the race that lives in Little Italy? You would probably say Italian. Let's go back in the past when Europeans came to this country, the United States of America Corporation, before it was a corporation, and they met the natives, which they called Indians. When they met these Native American Indians, how many French people were living amongst the Indians? How many Russians were living in the teepees with the Indians? How many Africans? Okay. Let's go to the animal kingdom. Or before that, let's go to a pet store. Ever been to a pet store? You go to the section where there are fish. What tends to happen is you see, for example, guppies swimming with other guppies. Neon fish. You see them put them in with other neon fish. Because if you put an angel fish with a neon fish, the angel fish will probably eat the neon. Does that make the angel fish racist? Let's go out in the wild. I'm sure many of you have watched, like, Animal Kingdom or Animal Planet. When you see a pride of lions, how many gophers are living with those lions? Or let's just pick the same type of genre. Okay? How many Black Panthers have cougars in their pride? Does that make them racist? And you'll say, okay, well, humans are more intelligent, which I would like to believe is true. Dolphins are pretty intelligent. How many moray eels swim with the dolphins? We are being taught lies that are nothing more than nature because people always want to see these days the negativity of things instead of the positivity. Why do species in the animal kingdom and all around the world tend to go with something familiar? Yeah, and I purposely made it dark because I don't want it to be about my skin color or anything. I want it to be about the message. As long as you can hear me, that's the important part. People, animals, even plants. You ever notice a forest tends to have the same type of trees for the most part, unless we've interfered and planted other trees? You know, when somebody makes a garden, when they're planting tomato plants, how many cactuses do they put in between the tomato plants? Or how many lime trees do they put in with the tomato plants? They don't. They separate them. Does that make them racist? The world is trying to convince you that if you congregate with your same race, you're racist. Now, like I said, in Chinatowns, you tend to find mostly Chinese or maybe Vietnamese or Japanese. You don't see, you don't go to Chinatown and say, "Wow, there's overwhelming amount of French people in Chinatown," or in Little Italy. You don't say, "Wow, there's an enormous amount of African Americans living in the Little Italies." People throughout history and animals throughout history have always wanted familiarity, from being with something that is familiar. You look like me, therefore I feel safer. That doesn't make you bad. Now, we as an intellectual species, an intelligent species, we can react with whoever, interact with whoever we want. Now, let me ask you, Nancy Pelosi, I can pretty much guess at Christmas time when she invites her family over for Christmas dinner. I have a sneaking suspicion that there are not many Mexicans or African Americans, many Eskimos, many French people, many Ugandans. Does that make her racist because her family will probably be mostly the same race that she is? Let's go with President Obama. When it's Christmas time or Thanksgiving and he invites his family over, I bet most of the people at his family gatherings are most likely black in color. Does that make him racist because his family is mostly African American? So why is it if a white person associates with another white person that makes them racist? They are programming you to hate instead of seeing it's just nature. Now, I'm not saying that only white people should be with white people. That is ridiculous. But if a white person's hanging out with another white person and there is no Canadians to be found, or no Mexicans to be found, or no black people to be found, that doesn't make them racist. People like things that are familiar. Do you ever wonder when somebody gets furniture for their house, they like to match things that look similar for the most part? What about the walls in your house? I guarantee you that for most people, if you painted one wall in the living room blue, I bet you the other walls are blue as well. You're not going, okay, this one's pink, this one's green, this one's turquoise, that one over there is black, that one we're going to paint white. You tend to have something that is similar. Go into the average person's bathroom and you will see, you won't see tiles on one wall and stucco on another wall and ceramic on this wall and glass things all over. I'm not talking about mirrors, but a glass wall. You tend to have things that are similar. Look at the outside of most people's houses. They don't paint them rainbow. They tend to paint them all one color. We're being taught in this world by these governments throughout the world that if a white person associates with white people, they're automatically racist, white supremacists. If you are prideful in who you are, there's something wrong with that. And yet, Black Pride Month, for example, who is that for? Is that for Chinese? Is that for Russians? Is that for Eskimos? No, it's for black people. So is it racist because they made a specific month for one group of people? We have to unlearn what we're being programmed. There is a reason why when you look up, if you ever go into the beach and you see a bunch of seagulls flying around, How many parrots are flying with those seagulls? How many condors? I have lots of videos. I guarantee you there's plenty on natural law. There's lots of things. You just have to check it out. So if you want to believe what they're telling you, that's fine. But just go with nature. Like I said, if you compare a cougar with a bunny rabbit, you can understand, well, the cougar would most likely eat the bunny rabbit. Okay, but the bunny rabbit, how many bunnies are hanging out with gophers? Now, I'm not talking about, they're grazing in the same grazing area or they're drinking from the same lake. I'm talking about if you go into a den where rabbits live, how many gophers are living with them? Are the bunnies racist because they choose to congregate with other bunnies? This is nature. That is why throughout history we have had specific groups tend to stay with groups that were similar because it made them feel safer. Why do you think there are countries that have their own language? Go to China and see how many people in China are speaking French. Does that make them racist? Go to Africa and see how many Africans are speaking Russian. Now, that doesn't mean there might be a few here and there that move there, but I'm talking about overall. Why do you think countries formed? It's just nature doing what it does. We can be, because we have the ability to think differently, we have the ability to change things. Like, for example, if you choose to want to be transgender, you are perfectly, if you are an adult who could make adult decisions and you decide, I want to change my sex, whether I agree with that or not, or like it or not, is irrelevant to your choice and your freedom to do what you want. So do it. But you don't have the right to force others to like, agree, or even accept what you choose to do to yourself. It's like art. If somebody makes a painting, some people will like it, some people will hate it. Doesn't make the painting that you painted any less validated to you if it had meaning to you. Anyone else is just making an opinion of what they see. Beauty, for example, is in the eye of the beholder. In the animal species, when you go to a pet store, ask them for a transgender fish, or a transgender parrot, or a transgender gerbil, and they'll look at you like you just got out of the crazy farm. I guarantee you, even somebody who's transgender, let's say they own a puppy or a cat, how many transgender cats are out there? Now, you could forcibly take your cat or dog, which I hope you never do, and mutilate it and change its sex, but in the wild, how many species, how many lions turn into lionesses? You have to stop believing what they're programming you, because all it's doing is making people hate one another by the color of their skin or their sexual preference. And that is wrong. Wrong is wrong, no matter how many people agree with it. I am a straight, white, heterosexual male. Okay? Should I not be proud of who I am? Does that mean I hate others who are different? No. I can get along with any good person, be they male, female, gay, straight, etc., etc. Black, white, it does not matter to me. What matters to me is, are they a good person or are they not a good person? I know plenty of people that have the same skin color as me that are not good people that I will not associate with. That doesn't mean anything more than wanting to be around those that make me feel safe and comfortable. The next time you drive into a Chinatown, I want you to film how many Eskimos are living in Chinatown. How many Canadians are living in a Chinatown? How many French people? How many Italians? Doesn't make them racist. Gay Pride Month. They have a month for people who choose to have a different sexual lifestyle, and that's great. But what if there was a straight Pride Month? Is there something wrong with that because somebody chooses to be straight? Again, all you have to do is look at nature. Go into a pet store and see how many piranha are living with sharks. How many parakeets are in the same cage as a cardinal or a dove? It's all about hatred. The more you hate, the more you separate, the more you lower your vibration, which makes you more easily controlled. I mean, look at this video right now. There are 10 people watching out of 46,000 people. 2 people have thumbed it up. See, what I talk about doesn't seem to ever want to be the most popular. It's gone down to 9, so somebody went and got offended. My messages are about making you think or helping you to think in a different way. It is not racist to be who you are and be comfortable with who you are. Now, there are plenty of people that are married to people outside their race. And it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But, like I said, or what I was saying, is if you want to be transgender, that's great. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it. But I'll never stop you. I will never make you feel bad for your choices. So why is it that if you are choosing to be something different, why is it that you are making others feel bad that they are not accepting of you? Why should you even care what other people think? If you want to become a unicorn, God bless you. Allah bless you. Whatever, bless you. Cabbage Patch, bless you. I don't have to agree with it. It's like food. Let's say you don't like spinach. Does that make you a hater? Well, technically, if you hate spinach, and you could be a hater. But I'm saying is, does that make you a racist against spinach? Or there's something wrong with you because you choose to not like something? That happens in life. There are things you like, and there are things you don't like. Now, just imagine if you hated spinach, and somebody tried to force you to have to eat it because they like spinach. Does that make any sense? Be who you are and be a good human being. If you are spreading hatred, if you are trying to force your ideologies on others, then you are not helping the world become more empathetic, more kind, more unified. Today's media has made the word diversity seem like a curse word. Be with whomever makes you happy. As long as consenting adults, you can do whatever you want as long as you are not causing harm on others. Don't feel the need to have others dictate your life or make you feel bad for who or what you choose to be. If you are a white person that feels like you are superior to other races, that is a problem. If you are a black person who thinks the same thing, you are a problem. If you are a gay person who thinks the same thing, you are a problem. If you are a straight person that thinks the same thing, you are a problem. So you can either be a problem or a solution. I will never apologize for who I am and what I believe. I can associate and have associated with every color in the spectrum, with every race that I've ever interacted with. Some of my best friends when I used to work at TWA, which is showing my age, were gay. Never had a problem with any gay person unless they were not a nice gay person. I never understood when I grew up, people were people. Yes, there were people with different skin color. Yes, there were people with different sexual preferences, but we never labeled them. When I worked for TWA, and I used to work in Manhattan back when I lived in New York, there were a lot of gay people that worked there. But I never introduced, hey, this is Bob, this is my gay friend. No, it was Bob. Or if we all went out drinking, if a bunch of us went out to the bar after a hard day's work, because we all had something in common. When you worked at TWA, you didn't talk about Hertz Rent-A-Car. You weren't selling life insurance. When you were at TWA, you were promoting their product. Again, it's just how it works. You don't go into a pool store and ask for clown shoes. But if a bunch of us went out drinking, I didn't say, oh, this is my black friend. This is my woman friend. This is my Chinese friend. No, these are my friends. We never labeled anybody. We knew they were different. That didn't mean anything bad. Now, it seems that everybody's trying to force the ideology on you. And what they are trying to do with children is disgusting. You notice that is adults that are trying to forcibly change children. Kind of a form of pedophilia if you think about it. Children are sacred. Children are innocent. And they are trying to corrupt your children. I don't have any children, so it doesn't affect me. If we do not stand up for what is right, and by stand up, I don't mean being violent, but if you support, for example, and I canceled my subscription because I had Disney Plus, but with all the stuff that's going on, I have canceled my subscription. I will no longer support companies that are doing what they're doing. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because Walt Disney was a known pedophile. You just have to dig deep about it because they like to hide things. So it doesn't surprise me what they've done to children, what they're now publicly saying about what should happen to your children. Is not remote. You'll have to watch the video to know what this is. Watch from the beginning and you will know. But my point is, you're being programmed to hate. You're being programmed to see nature as wrong. Like I said, go into a pet store and say, yes, I'd like to buy a parrot. Record how many times that seller of that parrot will say, well, do you want a boy parrot, a girl parrot, a lesbian parrot, a bisexual parrot, a transgender parrot? They will never say that. They will say, all right, do you want a male or female? Go into a pride of lions and point out the transgender lion. Now, I'm not saying transgender is bad. If you are an adult and you want to do something to change yourself, because maybe you feel different, you, as an adult who makes an adult decision, and people have made decisions in their life that one day they may regret. You ever get a tattoo when you were younger and later on in life you regretted that tattoo? People change. It's nature, it's part of life. But if you want to become transgender, that's great. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it, but I won't stop you. I won't make you feel hate. I won't burn your house down. You can live next door. And I'll worry about, are you a good person or are you a bad person? Now, if you're a transgender person that moved next to me and you are shooting fire rockets and bottle rockets all throughout the day and night, and you're throwing garbage all over the properties, and you're setting fires to people's houses, well, guess what? I'm not gonna like you. It has nothing to do with you being transgender. It has to do with you not being a good human being. But the media will label me into being a hater of transgenders or being transphobic. That's not how the world works. Stop listening to the news. Stop listening to the governments. Stop listening to the programming. You are who you are. You like what you like. You dislike what you dislike because that's just the way it is. The difference is, when a lion sees a gazelle, they want to kill it for food. We have the ability to do more harm than any animal on the planet. But remember, for us, it's a choice. I could be, I live in an area where there are more Spanish speaking people than English speaking people. I am friends with anyone that's come over and spoken to me. And I've spoken with many of my neighbors because I feed a lot of stray cats. And you know what? People are friendly. And I don't say, oh, tell me about your race. Tell me about your gender. We don't talk like that. Human beings don't talk like that. We just have conversations. How are you? It's a great day. And they'll say, oh, it's very nice that you're feeding those cats. And I say, yes, I think it's a nice thing to do in this world. And we have this common grounds. We have common conversations. And the funny part is, one day I walked in front of one of the houses of one of the ladies, this older lady, she's probably in her 60s or 70s. She sees me feeding the cats and she's like, oh, you're so nice, and it's so nice that you're doing that, and we have nice conversations. She says hello, and she's like, I'm walking to church and all that stuff. The funny part is, one day I walked past their house to feed other cats. She had a bumper sticker on her car that said F Trump. Now, I didn't vote for Trump, but I liked him, and I liked how the country was headed in that time. I guarantee you, if we just talked on the internet, there would probably be some friction. Now, I don't have a problem with anybody that chooses to say something like that because they have the right to say it. But yet, notice we're nice to each other. We're friendly because it has nothing to do with politics. That does not enter. I'm white. She's, I guess, I'll just say Spanish because I don't know. But we've never got into that. We just have conversations like normal people would. Look up in the trees and see a bunch of blue jays hanging out with doves. Just doesn't happen. Now, it can happen, but in a nest of blue jays, you will not find one cardinal. Does that make a blue jay racist? Because it chooses to only have other blue jays in the nest. If you hate somebody else because they are different, that says something about you. You're not a good person. Now, you could not agree with something, and that's okay. It is okay to not like spinach. But it is not okay to force somebody else to not like spinach if they do. Or the same token, if you love spinach, you should never make somebody else feel bad because they don't like it. It's just a choice. Now, you should not harm people. You could be a black person that, for whatever reason, does not like white people. It's okay for you to not like white people if that's what you decide, but it's not okay to hurt a person because they're white. And we can go on with any sexual preference or any race or anything in this world. If you are causing harm to others, you are not a good human being. This world needs more love, more empathy, more compassion, more caring. And how much do you see in that in any government or any media these days? Where's the compassion? Where's the empathy? Where's the caring? Where's the love? By their deeds you shall know them. And how interesting, because I see this all the time. There are 11 people watching and 9 thumbs up. 11-9. Well, what's my channel name? Barnon11970. I see 11 and 9 all the time. What a coincidence I look. That means when you see the similar numbers, it means you're on the right path. You're where you're supposed to be. Don't be ashamed of who you are, what you are. Be ashamed if you hurt others because they choose to be different than you. I'll be a proud person to admit that I do not agree with the gay lifestyle. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But like I said, I have gay friends. I've had gay friends. Never labeled them as gay friends. They were just friends. But if I saw 2 of my gay friends kissing each other, I would look away and probably be having a look like I just put a lemon in my mouth. But I wouldn't say, hey, stop that. I wouldn't beat them up for it. I would just not like to look at it because that's not my choice to do it. It is okay to disagree with things. If you go to an art gallery and you see a painting, it's okay to not like it. It's not okay to tear it down or deface it or rip it. You cannot say you are into diversity if you eliminate any race from that diversity. Inclusion is for all. Now, everything's a choice. Like I said, go to Barack Obama. Oh, let's just say, say Michael Jordan. I bet at Christmas time, most of the people that are at his family gathering are probably the same skin color as he. Now, unless somebody married out somebody outside of their race, I'm talking about natural family. Does that make him racist? Chuck Schumer. I bet his family is mostly the same skin color as he. I don't think he's inviting many American Indians and Eskimos and Mexicans over for his Christmas. Does that make him racist? What about Joe Biden? Mr. Brandon himself. When Thanksgiving comes along and he invites his family over for Thanksgiving dinner, I wonder how many people from Nicaragua are at that party. How many people from Nigeria? Does that make him racist? No. If you listen to this video and anything I said made you angry, then you are an angry person. And I hope you will find peace and love in your life. It is okay to not like things. It is not okay to hurt others because they like something you don't. It is not okay to force others to like what you like. If you want to be gay, be gay. Associate with other gay people. Why? Because you have something in common. But don't make others feel bad if they don't want to associate with you. If they try and hurt you or try and stop you, then that is bad. There are people I've seen on videos that are gay, and they make videos talking about how we're going to make other people gay and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, those people are not nice people. That is wrong. You should not force others to do something that they may not agree with, they may not like, they may not want to be. If you spend all your time worried about others instead of worrying about yourself, you are doing it wrong. How much love are you spreading in this world? How many people have you helped? How many people have you made smile? How many people have you helped to raise their vibration? You don't see that very often these days, at least not in the media. You go to your normal life, I guarantee you, you're probably very civil, if not friendly, with your neighbors. Now, sometimes you're going to have the neighbor from hell. It happens. But if you are nice, most people tend to be nice. You go to a store, you tend to like see somebody walk by and you have eye contact, you tend to smile or say, hi, how are you? You don't say, oh, are you gay? Or, oh, what race are you? That doesn't happen. Stop letting the media dictate this small fringe upon you and make you feel bad for your choices. If you're black and you want to hang out with other black people, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. If you're white and you want to hang out with other white people, it's okay. Go for it. But if you turn those groups into hate groups and hurt others, that's bad. No matter who or what you are. Next time you watch a nature show, I want you to record how many times the announcer says, here is a transgender animal. Does that make it homophobic? It's just what is. Again, it's all choice. If you want to become transgender, and I'm just using that as an example because you could be anything. If you are an Italian who wants to learn French, it's not cultural appropriation. It's curiosity. Maybe you need to learn French because maybe you're interested in a French person who only speaks French and you want to impress him or her by learning their language. Or maybe you just think the language is beautiful. Or maybe you just needed to learn it or wanted to learn it. You shouldn't really always have to come up with a reason why. Maybe sometimes you just do. Do you stop and think every day, why does my heart beat or why do my lungs take in oxygen? You just do it. The choice boils down to, do you want to choose to be a good human being or a bad human being? If you are trying to make others agree or disagree with what you agree or disagree with, and you try and force others or make them feel bad or hurt them, you're not a good person. You're not setting a good example. You are not somebody that should be emulated. Be with who you want to be with as long as it's consenting and as long as it's of appropriate age. No adult should be ever with a child. It's disgusting. And they are trying to sexualize your children. Parents need to be more responsible and more awake and more participating in their child's education. Now, do I have a problem with somebody that wants to be a drag queen? Not at all. Do I ever want to become a drag queen? Not at all. Do I want a drag queen if I had a child teaching my young child about their choice as they made as an adult? Not at all. Does that mean I hate drag queens? Not at all. Do you think I want a straight man in their 50s? If I had a 5-year old teaching them about sex? That's disgusting. They are taking advantage of people, and there are people who are sellouts that will do anything for money. That makes you a prostitute. If you are gay, if you are Democrat, if you are Christian, what have you, make your choice of whatever it is. If that's what you choose to want to be, go with it. But how many wars have to happen for your ideology? Think about the past. How many wars were, well, I pray to this God and you pray to that God, or they don't believe in any God, so we have to destroy them? It's more about taking people's power. Stop letting the world turn you into somebody that's afraid to be who you are. Don't hurt others. If you disagree or don't like what somebody else does, that's fine. But they have the right to do it. True freedom means you have the right to do anything. And if you are trying to dictate what other people can or cannot do or can or cannot say, then you do not believe in any freedom. Now, I'm not saying there are not consequences. If you rob a bank, which you're not supposed to do because you're taking from somebody and taking something that does not belong to you, there are consequences. Sometimes you get away with things. That doesn't make it right. Do the right thing. Stop worrying about what others think. Stop worrying what other people do and worry about what you do and try and make yourself do better. If you can't do that, there is no saving of this species, and we deserve what may come. Be good or be evil. Everything else, it's just getting ridiculous. So thank you to the 14 people out of 46,000 viewers watching. I will probably get about 300 views or less, and that's okay. My message is, I'm not in front of a green screen. I'm not going to say scripted lines. I'm not going to be selling you products, although I have things in the description if you want to check them out. But I'm not here trying to make money. I'm here to try and send a message. By their deeds you shall know them. Do I seem like a hateful person? Even though I've admitted I don't agree with the lifestyle of gay people, for example, but I will never stop them. If you want to be gay, live with it. Have a great life. I don't want to be a part of it, because that's just not me. But I'll never stop you. I'll never make you feel bad. I'll never hurt you. Make your choices, but make them good choices. And you'd be amazed at how much the world will be better. If you stay silent and you do not get messages like this out, then you're not helping the world become better. Doing nothing is not always the right choice. It's time we start taking humanity back in the direction it needs to go. If you stay silent because you're afraid, you will never be enlightened, and you will never rise to where you want to be. You will always sink to the bottom. It's time to make a stand. No violence, no hatred. Thanks for listening.